So, I would like to invite, first of all of you to make deep conscious breath through the nose and to breathe slowly through the mouth out. Just breathe in and allow and breathe out. Breathe in and allow and breathe out. Breathe and feel. Breathe and allow. Breathe deep into the belly core of your being and feel the essence of the spirit you breathe in, and bless it with your divinity, and let be free and do anything for you what you wish. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in slowly. Breathe out. Deep, deep. Breathe and allow. Breathe and allow. Feel. Okay. I feel your energy, and that what will happen today is, in a sense, a little unique. I'm going just to reflect back to you your energy and your knowledge. And I'm so, so glad and thankful to you that you have decided for truth and that you are open for truth in this year of truth. 2014 is the year of truth, and you are truth bringers. We are here, group of the people, of the human, incarnated, angelic beings who decided consciously to create out of passion for giving, out of passion for sharing, out of love and joy, and to experience finally, after long years of experiencing Atlantic karmas, to experience unlimited potentials. There is no words, there are no words to express my happiness and my oneness with you. We are all one in spirit, and that is why I feel here so welcome and so nice and so beautiful, connected with your energies, and we are going to create something amazing today, all of us, not just you, all of us together, something that happens just once in the history of each civilization, and that is quantum leap, or a spring, or turning point, turning over point from the awareness of our senses, electric awareness of our senses, and realizing their deception into the cosmic consciousness of our mind and realizing the power of our mind who can correct consciously that what our senses are delivering us to as information. So, I am that I am. Ilija of free and sovereign domain. And all of you are also. When I say that, usually people ask, but why you? And that is simple. Because I know and I am aware of that what I am not. And that gives me freedom of sovereignty. What I am not. I am not doctor of science. I am not Ilija. I am not Lakicevic. I am not research professor. Who am I then? And who are you? That's very easy to answer that question. Who am I? Who am I and who are you? All of us are consciousness, mental beings living in a cosmic vacuum tube of invisibility and projecting from that vacuum condition our creative desires. So we are consciousness, we are not energy. And we call in energy in order to create with energy with our passion and our creative desires. We create energy. So consciousness is awareness of one idea of creation and of all our experiences, since as consciousness we cannot know who are we without expressing us through our creative desires in order to know ourselves. Now you know that I'm not that body that you see here. You know that I'm not standing here on this floor. I'm standing on his shoulders, on the shoulders of Nikola Tesla, on the shoulders of Einstein, on St.Germain, on Jesus, and many, many others who are my teachers, and that is why I can see further. And that is the usual process of expanding consciousness and coming into the mind knowing, using their shoulders. And I love them, all of them, and this guy especially, because he deserves such a great recognition and rehabilitation, and he is unrightfully forgotten in this civilization for all what he has done and discovered. He deserves the greatest honor and appreciation. Walter Russell, more artist and philosopher than scientist, but who spent some 40 days living as a spirit and received amazing teaching from St.Germain, my teacher also. I love you, Professor Adams, and he knows. He is actually promoter on this planet of the rhythmic balance interchange. which means equal giving and giving. Our civilization is still in taking mode. You know, most of the people are busy to take more and more and more as possible. Not thinking much about giving. When you make conscious deep breath and ask Spirit to do something for you, make it in a way of thankfulness. You thank the Spirit for inspiring you to give and to be worthy of that what would be given to you for that what you give. And then through the thankfulness you touch the Spirit and it goes into realization. That is the most efficient way. But you know all that. Okay. So, we are living in civilization where it is believed that knowledge is information. And our books and libraries and other storing media are full of information. We get information through our senses, because our senses can sense motion. Our senses are motion and they sense motion, and we get an impulse like this, goes through nerves in our brain and will be memorized there. Brain has nothing to do with thinking, and it is very wrongly, absolutely wrongly believed in the science and in our civilization generally, think with your brain. No, 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 no. With brain is a storehouse of the information. And mind decides and tells the brain what to do, and tells my brain now to move this hand or whatever, how to respond to that incoming information. And all information, including all information from our past lifetimes, although there are no past lifetimes, you know, there is only eternal now, are stored already there, and we can get access to them when we express pure intent, and we get it everything. So to understand that information delivered from our senses is not knowledge, because information is inverted picture of the reality, and you will see a little bit later. I will show you how it looks like. The great teacher and the great spirit and the great mind, Walter Russell, made this wonderful picture where you can see the universal mind and all just let me back. Yeah, and all the qualities of the universal mind, including knowledge, energy, beauty, and so on, inspiration, rhythm, and vision, love, idea, are eternal qualities of the universal mind, of spirit, which are given simulation through the quantities in the form. So only this reality is real, and the reality of the form and this electric universe of motion is an illusion of the mind. Why? It's so simple. Spirit is all there is. Cannot know itself within itself. must go out of itself and express. Since spirit, mind is all there is, going out of self is only possible through dreams, imagination, and thoughts. So everything what is created that way is an illusion, because the only reality, infinite and eternal reality, is the reality of the universal mind, or whatever you want to call, white, steel, magnetic light, all spirit, all creator, or source. That's all the same. That is all the same. But to understand, that is the only eternal reality. So the mind, universal mind or spirit, centers every piece of matter of the material world. Centers it from inside and controls it from the outside. In order to give you an idea how it looks like from the outside, there is a huge space around the whole matter of the universe. So if you would put the whole matter like this apple, then 10 to 32 times is the bigger space surrounding the whole matter of the universe and controlling it from the outside, so that everything in absolute balance with everything else. So we will come to it a little bit later, and I would like now to remind you of the paradigm shift, the difference between the old and the new energy. After the fall of Atlantis, we have punished ourselves for that what we have done, destroyed one wonderful, wonderful, amazing advanced technological civilization. But okay, that's a game. Life is just about experiencing. Okay, and then we have decided to punish ourselves. All of you were there. We were there, of course. That were not some other people. Were you, me. We have done it. And we have decided to punish ourselves and to experience just limited potentials and to experience to the fullness duality. And we have created the type of energy which is dual, energy of opposition, of collision, so polarized energy, the so-called all energy, and creation is the all energy is hard, complicated, not complex. We have complicated it deliberately, inefficient and expensive. And all the technologies of this civilization are done on that way. So, nothing wrong. We wanted to experience it. And we got it to experience. No judgment at all. The only way we can change something is to love it in order to integrate it. Never forget it, that rule. Only through love you can integrate one energy. The more you hate, or the more you judge an energy, and the more you oppose to an energy, the more that energy hates you, opposed to you, and never you can integrate it. So the only way to change something is to love it. To love it. Love means to accept unconditionally. To accept unconditionally. No judgments. So the all energy is energy which allows our creation with force, power, fear, and efforting. I will not go so much into explanation of that, but that is our civilization. You know, there are powerful centers, there are powerful and force, and those who are controlling, manipulating, and ruling and governing with fear and force and power and efforting. Nothing bad. We love them just. We wanted that, and they got that. Everything what you get in your life, you wanted it. Just that what you experience in the moment is that what you really, really wish. All the rest I call MM. You know, huh? Somebody knows. Okay. So when we decided mental masturbation, MM. Simple and easy. So when we decided to stop experiencing limited potentials and to start experiencing unlimited potentials, we have created, I repeat, the new energy. The tool, an amazing tool, which that creates the old energy, power, force, fear, and efforting, and enables us, it is a kind of expansional energy, simultaneously in and out, that creation on an opposite to that easy, simple, efficient, and a cheap way. That is amazing tool, an amazing tool for all of us who decide for the new energy, and all of you who are present now here and who will be listening to this presentation have decided for new energy. Most of them probably unconsciously, but it doesn't matter, it will work. So, creation with joy, simplicity, and freedom. Joy, simplicity, and freedom. No more efforting. That is old Atlantean way of creation, and remembers to it. So, creation with all energy is based on this famous Rutherford-Bohr atom model. So, Rutherford-Bohr atom model, everybody knows nucleus, protons and neutrons in nucleus, positive charged particles like spheres, like balls, and electrons, negative charged particles cycling around it. I don't really know what is negative charged. I'm not specialist in English. That's my English enough simple that you can understand me. But even with that knowledge of English, I understand that negative charge is a nonsense. Charge in English means charge here means to put in, or charge battery, or charge self with energy. You cannot charge anything negative. And the whole civilization, including all educational system and the scientific world, and talking about negative charged particles. And I stress that just to give you an idea how deep and deep is our hypnosis. We are all hypnotized. Yes, hypnotized, literally. Tell me, please, does it have sense? The main law in physics, so famous, Coulomb law, opposite attract each other. That is what is seen, you know. Plus and minus charge. There is no minus charge, but okay. And attract each other. They see that they move to each other and they attract each other according to how opposite can attract each other. Opposite can oppose to each other. That is why we call them opposite. They were not opposites. Opposite, the only office of opposites is to oppose to each other. So, it's a wonderful example how easily our senses can deceive us. We see really that they go to each other, and we define it as attraction. It has nothing to do with attraction. By the way, there is no negative charge, nothing. Nothing is negative charge. When charge is less or more charge, there is lower or higher potential, but negative charge doesn't exist at all. So we are going to exemplify a little bit about our senses and the way our senses perceive reality and deliver to us information. You have here, that is taken from some electromagnetic spectrum, that is electric spectrum. In this universe of motion, everything is electric. Nothing is magnetic. Everything what is magnetic is a static, is the source of power. And everything what is motion is electric. So that is electric spectrum. And you see just here how, oh, sorry. Here. Yeah, here. You see here how small and this visible part of the spectra is in comparison with all the rest of the spectra. Besides all other features, dual senses, we perceive with our senses just a small part of the spectra and tend to believe that it is the truth and build civilization based on information given us by our senses and consider ourselves as an advanced civilization. Advanced, of course, but only in improving weapons to killing our brothers and sisters. And that is our evolution until now. And no wonder, all energy, all energy. Energy of position, no judgment at all. But we are going to change it, of course. We are becoming aware of it. And we are going to change it also. So, there are many examples how our senses deceive us easily. One of the nicest examples, you know, probably you have learned in the school, when you look at the railroad tracks and look a little bit far away from you and you see they go to each other. But you know that they are still parallel because trains are going there. So that is one wonderful example when you can become aware that senses deliver you wrong information. They deceive you. But you correct it with your mind. You know that they are still parallel there. The next example is when you are in a train and you look at the landscape around you and you get the impression that the landscape is moving back. Fast, moving back. For sure, everybody of you experienced that at least once in your life. And some observer sitting on the top of the mountain very far is experiencing the train moving forward. So where is the trick? Where is the answer? Sense deception. Our senses deceive us. And we used to say, trust your eyes. Trust your eyes. That's a big question mark. Trust or not trust? So the other example, if you imagine a big wheel, stationary wheel, and a fly moving slowly around the rim and looking down, experiencing every single point and has impression that wheel is moving because of the sense deception. The same would happen if you would fly around it and looking down. Yes. And then there is also, we will later come to it, so-called right-handedness and left-handedness deception of our senses. I will show you now how it is really deception. And I brought here an apple, again, like in Hilversum, and not an accident, because apple, you remember, forbidden trees from Bible. Is it trees of knowledge? Ha! Here is about knowledge. It was forbidden. Not accidentally, of course. So, imagine now, very easy, that is Earth. North Pole and South Pole. And you rotate it slowly and rotate. I put my equator with the equator of the Earth, and I see clearly one direction of rotation from me to you. One direction of rotation. There is nobody who would argue with me that. You see that? So now I move here from this side and continue rotating, and I see rotation from left to right. It is defined as a clockwise rotation. Clockwise rotation. Super. Let it be. But now I move to this side and continue rotating. Now it rotates from right to left. Ha! And I know one direction of rotation. And I put it back here and move, and my mind knows one direction of rotation. And my senses tell me this is clockwise and this is counterclockwise. Whom should I believe here? Trust now. Senses or mind? And of course I trust my mind. And that is what is all about this new atom model that I'm going to present here. Enables us consciously to go out of the electrical awareness of our senses, which are delivering us false, wrong information, into the cosmic consciousness of our mind, which knows the truth and can correct that what our senses deliver us and let us know the truth with our mind. So imagine now I continue rotating and put here one pencil and here other pencil. And simultaneously, when I rotate it, I move that pencil right and that one left. And then I would get this picture here. And if I would fold this picture like this over the equator, I will get the same picture, one direction of rotation. And my nose, how to correct it? My nose here and my nose here. So mind knows only cause can be known with mind, and effect can be experienced with senses. Effect cannot be known by mind, nor cause can be experienced with senses. And that is totally clear for all of you and for me, and of course for many others. And that is what is quantum leap in consciousness. If you are going to explain that for a 10 years or 8 years boy, how it is that one direction of the motion, one direction of rotation causes two opposite effects, you can take pencil like it here or here and go way out. Not changing now the direction of rotation, I go back, I go back, I go back, I go back. You see, I came here, he gone in. It looks like two different, like here, two different directions, like here, opposite direction, but it is one direction. I didn't change it. You see that clearly. It produces on that side here dense condition, and the outer side in circumferences produces lower potential, less dense condition. So our senses really deceive us. Every 10 years, kid would understand it and tell you, aha, that's right, that's right. So many examples. I'm not going too much to talk about it. I'm just promoting very much and as much as I can Walter Russell, because he deserves it. That is everything what you see here almost from him. You see that in the universe also, one nebula looks like it also. And finally, we can postulate forever once forever, that in all this universe there is only one direction of motion, but that one direction produces two opposite series of effects. There is no right and left-handedness, because each cause creates an illusion of two opposite effects, and that illusion belongs to the senses, not to the effect, not to the source, not to the cause. And during millions of years of our unfolding, our senses have translated unitary facts in dual effects, because our senses are dual, and our senses are motion, and they sense motion, and that's fine. So finally, we can conclude definitely and understand now that everything that is based on sense information is upside down inverted picture, and we have to invert once again in 180 degrees and get the truth. So my motivation to find the truth came from my inner feeling, because I went through that heavy scientific programming from the bottom to the top, from my inner feeling that something simple must be existent, that the truth is much simpler than the presented in the official science. And I have worked many years with plasma discharges, and you can see here gas discharges. You have evacuated vacuum tube and put a voltage and put some pressure inside of some gases like argon, xenon, or any other you wish, and get discharged, and you see clearly, I saw it a million times, forming of the light rings, like in this picture. Those pictures are plenty everywhere. Go on YouTube, I will find thousands of those pictures. Or in laboratories, all of them know that. We all know that. The other effect that was intriguing me is in medicine, so-called sickle cells. Sickle cells means cells that they have not a usual, normal, balanced form like here, like inner tube of tire, like rings, and you see it here, but totally deformed, like here. Sickle cells. And all those people having those cells in their blood were diagnosed as diseased, ill, not healthy, not balanced, like here. And the next effect that intrigued my attention was that the known fact in the science that the electric potential within cell is different in the centrum and going to the outside. They have measured it, that there are a lot of proofs, no doubts at all, not knowing why, of course. And finally, an amazing fact was discovery and recognition, even in the official science, that electric current does not move through the wire, but on the surface of the wire. So it was for years, for 100 of years in the science known that electrons move through the wire. I couldn't imagine that, never. Even I got a doctorate degree and research professor in physics, and never agreed with that the electrons can run from here to America and back so fast through the wire. No. It's a lie, of course. It's not true. So that's why probably I had motivation to find out the truth. So, and the next motivating point for this was this wonderful sketch and graph from the drawing from the Walter Russell, and he gave here on this graph the so-called balanced pairs. Everything in nature is created in pairs, and when the pairs are equal and opposite, they are balanced pairs. And the most popular and most known is is this sodium chloride, you know, as an ordinary table salt. It's a one balanced condition, and I call it balanced kiss. When they find each other and hug each other, they never lose it because they enjoy that one. That's the balance.
You have explosion if they kiss each other.
Of course.
I'm a chemist, I know this.
Of course. You don't need to be chemist. It's from life also. So, based on all those experiences and on my meditations, I came to idea how to simulate the living cell that is part of the living human body. And I decided to put in one container here one copper ring, here you see that, copper ring, and put water and salt, sodium chloride. And then put one electrode here with 2 bar wires in order to make connection and put them so close to each other, as close as possible, in order to be sure at the very center, I centered it very nice, that I reach the very center, and that between those 2 electrodes is very, very small distance, less than 1 millimeter, 0.2, 0.3 millimeter. So, and when I switched on electric current, I connected it with a battery 1.5 volt, and then when I switched on electric current, I didn't find any change in the potential. So all of you who are familiar with a little bit physics know, if there is here change in potential, there will be drop in my measurements, less than 1.543, but I measured the same value. And that's the proof that potential, electric potential here is 0. And that is the main conclusion. Electric potential is in the very center, is the measured to be 0. And now I interpreted my results. So that's a very simple experiment. It can be repeated. It was very, 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 that's a simple and cheap. New energy way, of course. So, interpretation. The spot between 2 electrodes is 0 electric potential, and I define electric potential as a dense pressure condition. Electric potential is a dense pressure condition. And then I measured, I go back now, I measured also here at different points radially from the center here and on the ring itself also. And since I measured electric current voltage also radially and at the ring itself, yeah, that is the third conclusion. Now, since the electric potential in the very center is measured to be 0, there must be stillness there, no motion, because dense pressure condition is a result of motion. Motion only can create dense pressure condition. So when there is no electric potential, it means that is still, no motion. Conclusion, in the center there is stillness. Come on, very nice. So it must be also very cold because there is no motion, and it must be also very dark. There is no motion again. So, and all those features belong to the eternal universe of the universal mind or spirit or creator or source, whatever you want. So I measured really in laboratory in such a simple experiment. I measured and proved creator in laboratory. And that experiment is so simple, and each and every one of you can repeat it and improve it, of course. It's possible. Everything is possible. Yes, the main conclusion is that the center of the copper ring is a fulcrum of the electric current, and so since the current is moving on the electric ring, now my conclusion is that a cell is a light ring spinning around the black hole, the universal mind point, centering that I measured. And so that is a new concept. It calls, pronounced in English, JULA. I call it JULA. J for joy, U for united, L for love is allness, A. J-U-L-A. Joy united with love is allness. And that is what is about the new model of atom. And I come back to my great teacher, on his shoulders I'm standing right now. He discovered that some 60, 70 years ago. And he gave it to this civilization. It was known. It was not measured like this, what I have done. But look at this. Rest is the source of energy. The same what I concluded, what I measured. Electricity compresses cold to create heat. Compresses cold and creates current on the ring that I measured. Current is a heat also. Motion, compression, heat. Everything what I measured is already there. And the world of result deserves great, great recognition. And now, just to remind you the difference between electric potential and the energy. Potential and the energy. Please understand, energy is that universal vacuum, that source. And sitting there in the neutral state, energy cannot be expressed. Energy is expressed as a potential of some form, because each form is a kind of motion. Can you please open a little bit window, because we'll need a small fresh air. So, that misconception of energy is another subject, and that is the next subject. I'm not the only one who measured creator in the laboratory and proved that creator really is possible to be measured with laboratory methods. Those guys in America, some more than 20 years ago, have measured, as you see here, clearly, atom of tungsten with a, Wolfram, tungsten, magnified 2,700,000 times, and you see clearly hexagonal structure.
Very strong.
And in the very center, I tried to count protons and neutrons. And I magnified that very center and show here in this picture. I didn't find any. Can you see, anybody of you here, how many protons and neutrons are here? No. Of course. There are no protons and neutrons in the nucleus. And no, that phantom, amazing nuclear forces. Nucleus is a source of the power that is spirit, universal mind, centering every piece of creation from inside. And the main conclusion from this all is that what has been denying for centuries in the science, that science is spiritual, because spirit sits in the center of each atom, each cell, and each particle, centering it from inside. You can ask later. Or tell me.
What are we seeing now?
You see here clearly an atom magnified 2,700,000 1,000 times. And you see here hexagonal structure, but it is long story to explain why hexagonal structure, because nothing in the universe has ever been created except water and fire.
But what does it make that that hexagonal figure?
Oh, that's very good. All elements crystallize in some kind of form, whereas the carbon and balanced forms crystallize in cube form, and all other distorted a little bit from cube crystallize in hexagonal, octagonal, and other structures. I can show you that, but let me first finish that, and we can discuss it later. So this picture is a base of amazing discoveries, and those guys also deserve the biggest recognition. So.
Is that also the black hole?
Sorry, yes, Marsha. That is the black hole inside. Unfortunately, I didn't find the protons, neutrons. Probably you see some, no? No. Okay. So, I would like now to explain the process of creation from the beginning to the matter. Because now we have right concept of the particle. Particle is also a light ring of visible light spinning around the black hole, universal mind point. We have a concept of atom, the same. We have a concept of a cell, the same. And can now explain the process of creation. I remind you that I told you now at the beginning, we create with thoughts, with imagination, and with our dream. We imagine something, and that what we imagine is this illusion, what we perceive as reality with our senses. So we start with that universal mind, which is absolute black, cold, no motion, balance, infinite and eternal state of being, cannot be disturbed because it is infinite and eternal. It can be only expressed through thoughts, through imagination. So, as a cause, eternal cause, there is eternal effect, because the process of thinking of the Creator and imagining and dreaming is a permanent process. Never Creator will cease to think or to imagine or to dream. Otherwise, this illusion of reality will disappear suddenly. But it will never happen. The source is infinite, eternal. And the effect is also infinite and eternal, without slightest doubts. So, what I imagine four two-dimensional rings. And since I must divide them in order to let the only reality to be existent and present, I divide them in two pairs of four pairs of two rings from both sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. I imagine that. That is two-dimensional, non-dimensional, and that is particle. Particle starts and creation starts from non-dimensional seed pattern, that is imagined pattern, seed. So, and then I let those rings in my thoughts, in my imagination, to spin, because I occupy very huge volume with those rings and compress those rings in order to, you see, in order to create the form, the desired form, depending on the pattern. So I compress those rings, and those rings go, I will show you many pictures later, and meet somewhere in the middle on the wave form here, and create, at the beginning, create some disc-like shape here in the middle, which is prolating. The more rings come to it, the more it will be in the middle, prolating and prolating. And you see, it becomes more and more clear here, in the middle. And then you have more and more, and finally you get the ideal sphere. The compression phase of the creation is finished when the ideal sphere at the wave amplitude is reached, is formed. And that is carbon is pivotal element in the nature. Official science is placed carbon at 12 or 6 position. Which one?
6.
6. It's a pivotal element. Highest melting point.
Yes.
Highest potential.
Strong. Most strong.
Most strong, of course. Because it's a balanced. It's a balanced, only balanced element.
9.
In the, yeah, of course. And from that point on, universe, creator, has given what he has to give. Is compressed into ideal sphere. Cube is compressed into ideal sphere. And you imagine that the space has a cubic form, of course. You can fill this room just with cubes, not with spheres. There would be empty space between spheres. With cubes, we can fill it fully. Space has a cubic geometry, cubic form. And then that is compressed into the sphere. Only 2 forms in nature ever created are cube sphere. Cube is compressed into the sphere, and from that point on, sphere is expanded back into the universal vacuum, into the space, into the cube. And that process goes now, imagine that is the sphere, and now here, again the hole will be drilled, and all the matter will be expanded equatorially on the equator in the form of rings. And all our planets are created this way. They are offsprings of our sun. The last 4 offsprings, the 4 planets nearest to the sun. And moon is a child of Earth, the first offspring of Earth, not known in science. So, very nice. And the process goes by oblating of the sphere, flattening it in the poles, and creating the rings in the equatorial plane, and expanding that rings back into the non-dimensional seed pattern. And from that point on, repeating that process again and again. And you see clearly here how it looks like. You recognize Saturn and dying planets. All the matter goes, expands on the equatorial plane in the form of rings that are going back into the universal vacuum. They create, disintegrate, or radiate, or whatever you want to describe it, until it comes back into non-dimensional seed pattern, and again takes that journey. And that process happens very, very fast, so that our senses cannot resolve that. And we perceive that as a permanent matter is every single smallest time created and decreated. And we perceive it as a solid state. So true. Made out of light rings. Now, based on this concept of atom, you understand that you are light being, because your body, if you identify yourself with your body, and I myself also, is made of light rings. And everything is a universe is made of light rings. Everything. The more the light rings spin faster and compressed more, the more solid is that matter. And the more temperature, and the more pressure, and the more frequency. And that is the only difference. That's a beauty. I bet that all of you have doubts when you read for the first time that you are light beings. How can I be light beings? Like, unbelievable. The same was with me. Now I know, and share with you. That's why I wanted to know that. So there are plenty of evidence that it is true. That is from Walter Russell again, the burning of the holes and the disc shape here, and here how it looks like in the universe. Everything is recorded, and that concept of the big space surrounding the matter, compression, expansion, generation, degeneration, power decrease, gases, matter, and so on, is well known generative, degenerative, radiative principle of creation from the Walter Russell, 3 years copyrighted before Einstein came with his theory. You know, huh? Me too. Okay, but it doesn't matter. So is the life. Many other pictures from the Walter Russell confirming that the same creation, compression of the light rings into the smaller volume, and the secret of creation lies in the difference of the volume. The huge amount of space, volume of the space, is compressed into the small volume of matter. And that is why the temperature and the pressure and the frequency is increased. Until that matter reaches the highest incandescence in form of the suns, like carbon, like sun, and then starts everything in reverse, there is reversal point, and starts expansion, that is compressing phase of creation, and then start expansive phase of creation. So this universe is compression, expansion, pump. One piston of the pump is in the space and another one in matter. No electrons, negative charge particles, for sure not. So look at this here, that is a so-called tornado effect, very nice explained, how everything has a motion, the light rings, you see clearly here. Now what is atom, what is cell, what is particle, compressing faster and faster and faster until it will be here, touched some surface and reflected back into it and created vacuum and pick up houses and everything else. You know, tornado, what it makes. Creates vacuum there and picks up any weight. It has no weight then at the moment when it comes to the vacuum. So this is also interesting to explain what is gravity. According to Newton, this apple falls down because there is some center of gravity in the center of Earth attracting apple and all other material bodies. That is the Newton's concept of gravity. But gravity is, you see here, is a universal mind point which is recognized in the center of each spinning ring, because all the space is the same point, and we identify every next stage in the compression centering by some universal mind point, and we call it gravity. Gravity is the creative force of this universe, is the same as the power of the source, is the same as the magnetism. There is no difference. So only what we perceive, it comes from the outside and controls everything, not as a force from inside. You can get easily truth. Turn it in 180 degrees what is said in science and you get the truth. That's easy. Because of the sense deception, nothing against the science, but just realizing how to easily come to the truth. And that is one. They talk about quantum gravity, about oscillations in vacuum. I really do not understand it. How can somebody imagine oscillation in vacuum? There is nothing in vacuum. What can oscillate there? And there are plenty of scientific papers published with oscillation of the vacuum, perturbation. I don't know. I have a nice expression for it. Sure. Double M.
Spinning light. Is there a particle like a photon involved, or how do you view a photon?
Let me finish that first. We can discuss later when I open for questions. Miguel, please. It's easy to answer that question. That's no problem. So that is process of creation, a little bit just figurative to show you two pairs of rings divided from both sides and then compressed, and there are 4 focal points where the elements are created between those two, here is the same picture, a little bit more nice made from the Walter Russell again. And because of the geometry of space, there must be 4 focal points, and those focal points define all these elements of matter. And here is also, you see, almost the same picture. You see rings from one side, 1, 2, 3, 4, and united here, ideal sphere in the middle when they meet. And they move to each other, not because opposites attract each other according to the Coulomb, because the universal law is same attract each other. Just turn in 180 degrees and you have the truth. They say opposite attract each other, same attract each other. And they move to each other in order to find the same condition, the same polarity. And when they meet, they exchange their polarity and continue their journey eternally. That is the truth, and that's easy truth, very easy truth. So, a little bit more from Walter Russell explaining that everything. I just like to show you. It could be also explained very easy scientifically. You have a one light ring and divide into 2. Imagine here are 4, 2 pairs of 4, and then into all direction, and you see nicely how 3 dimensions here are get. That's picture also known from the science, the typical presentation of the 3-dimensional space. Or the cube made out of 8 octants, cube parts. That's a geometry of space, again from the Walter Russell. I love him very much. And here, it is so nice to see for you here. It's in equatorial plane rings, and then when they move here and collide here, they create here sphere on both sides. You see, from the one diagonal to the other, and that is the wave here. That is the wave. You will see later. See suns creating in each octave here, and here the balls. When the balls appear here and disappear, then the curvature disappears. Curvature is created because of the geometry of space. The full space must be filled, and it goes to the very corner there, and that is why there is the whole universe is curved. The space is curved. They're talking about curvature. So again, the nice pictures from Walter Russell. You see the red side, compressive side. They call always the red side, and the expansive side, the blue spectra. That is male, female, father, mother. Like by human beings also, polarity. Everything is nature is created, using the same principle. And you see in this picture, very nice. Here, the seed pattern of all elements and all material universe are inert gases. It is not known until now. The only office on inert gases is to be the seed pattern of the whole material universe. And there are 9. And Walter Russell described precisely. I'm not going to exemplify that it more. And you see here, very nice again, rings, imagined rings, 2-dimensional. And then they become 3-dimensional, meet in the middle, and create ideal sphere. And that ideal sphere, if you like to compare it with protons, neutrons, and electrons. During compressive phase, here, you can consider it as a proton. It's okay. Compression, charging potential, increasing potential. When it stops in the middle, on the wave amplitude, ideal sphere, you can call it neutron. When the matter is created, neutron. And when it starts to expand, you can call it an electron, but it is not negatively charged. It is only discharged. You can charge and discharge, not charge negative. Except if they can. So, very nice. Explain the wave cycle here. You see everything starts in the equatorial plane here, and then goes here to the corner and meet the other one from this side, see, here, and create ideal sphere. And then from that point on goes in the next wave field, the geometry. You see here cube on that side, then on this side, then on this side, and when you put that all together, you get the wave like going around one cylinder. And that is the real wave, that is not in one plane, that it goes in spin like around cylinder. And that is the wave cycle. And I explained to you one cycle of electric current, how it is created in the previous picture. So Walter Russell blessed this civilization with the right chart of elements, and it looks like this. There are 9 octaves, and each octave has 4 pairs of elements, 4 pairs of elements of each side, 4 balanced on the blue side, red side, 4, and in the middle there is always the centering carbon in the 4th octave. Here is a pivotal element. From that point on, everything goes in expansion, and you find here in 9th octave all the radioactive elements which are expanding so fast, very near to the speed of light, 1,600 miles per second, 300,000 kilometers per second. And they expand with probably 285,000 kilometers per second. Very fast, and that is fast. That is why nuclear radiation is so dangerous and penetrating everything and created global warming. Nuclear radiation. Not ozone effect and greenhouse and CO2. That's all. That's all for the small kids. So we come here to explain the equation of creation. So Einstein gave in 1905, more than 100 years ago, this famous equation as a relation between energy and the mass, m0 c² over this relation. So, and it was claimed, according to the valid scientific concept of the universe, expanding universe, it was claimed that it describes radiation. And the second law of thermodynamics recognizes only radiation, only chaos, only increasing entropy. You know that. So, according to the science, there is no uphill flow of energy, there is only downhill flow of energy, radiation. There is no compression. So it was claimed that Einstein's equation describes radiation. I call it downhill flow of energy, this line here. And there is no uphill flow of energy according to the science. According to the me and to the Walter Russell and to all those who know about the sense deception and know with their mind. This equation describes that part of creation which doesn't exist according to the science, namely compressive phase, uphill flow of energy, and that is here on this side. I put it in red, compression, red side of the spectrum. And the expanding or radiating phase of the creation is this curve here, is described with another equation, and that is my equation. I added to it the right equation, that is this one, and this one describes exactly the process of radiation. So the Einstein equations is not valid as a truth, is a half truth. So the complete truth is here. The complete truth about the creation is here. You see, it's a simple and efficient and easy new energy way. No complications, no need. Because when you know that there is compressive, expanding phase, you describe both of those phases with the same kind of equation, and you get that everything.
Sorry, what is set out horizontally?
V over C, you see?
What does it mean?
The ratio V that is normalized to 0. When V over C is equal 0, that is here eternal.
And what is V and C?
That is a well-known Einstein equation. V is velocity of the motion, and C is the speed of light. That equation is so known. I'm sorry. That is m0 is mass on rest. No motion. C is the speed of light, and V is any speed of the matter in motion. Then the equivalence between energy and matter is described with this equation, and it is believed that always there is expansion, radiation of the matter into the energy, and there is no compression of the energy into the matter. And I explain now that there is compression and there is expansion, and that equation that was meant to be for radiation is for compression, and for radiation there was a missing, and I added this new equation for that expanding phase, damping flow on energy, and all of this is a truth about the creation. Now they have complete equations.
There must be, otherwise there's no balance.
Of course, my brother. So, we have explained now, today, that first of all, creator can be experimentally proved in laboratory, and I have measured, and those guys have measured, and there will be more and more those who will be able to prove the creator in the laboratory. And science is definitely spiritual. So there are many misconceptions in the science of energy, of matter, of substance, and that will be matter of some of the next presentation. And why this knowledge came now? Because you as a free people have decided for the free energy. And you got it together and attracted what? Knowledge. Because only knowledge can make you free. And when you become free people, you will get free energy. And you became now knowledge. With knowledge you are free. And soon there will be free energy devices also. Very soon. Because what we dream goes into realization very fast. So, and before that, before free energy comes into realization, there must be solved the problem of a nuclear technology, and especially the problem of a nuclear waste. So, understanding on a deep level that everything is just energy, there is a concept how to easily transform the nuclear waste in usable energy and stop the global warming, because the nuclear technology and nuclear radiation is the cause of the global warming, and how to stop oxygen depletion in the atmosphere in waters, which is main source of the life force energy, oxygen, and how to open billion workplaces, what is now needed all over the world, so that huge energy can be transformed in a huge beneficial for the whole humanity. And that concept is existing, and I'm going very soon to bless this civilization with that concept for free, of course, because I enjoy giving. I love giving. That's a creation, desire to give. And of course, there is ongoing process of the healing of the heavy consciousness diseases. All the diseases on the level of physical body are nothing in comparison with the consciousness diseases. All the effects on the physical body are gifts to make transformation. No need for heal it. We are just making Sisyph's work here with healing. The main diseases are diseases of the consciousness. Is dishonesty expressed through the lies? Almost in every transaction today in this civilization, one or both of the sides are cheating each other. Yes, we know that. mysticism, lack of knowledge, this concept will help to make the base of knowledge and to gain the knowledge and heal this heavy disease of the human consciousness, mysticism, lack of knowledge. And the third one is the slavery to technology, which is enabled through hard, complicated, and expensive way or old way of creation. We replace it with new way of creation and will heal also this disease. And the process of healing of the dishonesty of the human consciousness has begun in Egypt by happenings. One last year in Egypt, there was a turning point in development of this civilization where started re-establishment and gaining of the old forgotten features, main features of the human consciousness, which are honesty, which are moral, and which are character. And that is forgotten. And that is our civilization, upside down. Everything upside down. And now it turns on the feet again, and we become civilization who will be received in the civilization of the universe. Happy human beings. And for the end, and so it is. Thank you very much. Happy to share with you. And I'm open for the questions, for discussion, for everything what you want.